emailed you or that you hopefully downloaded. If you hunt around, you'll find one that says meet results, CTCC, VPDC. If you double click on that, it's going to unzip it. Click OK, and double click on the file it sends you to. The big thing here is it's going to come up with a screen that looks like this. There's no harm in overlaying duplicate results. We definitely want to add new teams/athletes. So occasionally you're going to have stuff that might not have been in the entries you did in Team Manager, but you made a change the day of the meet in Meet Manager, manually added a kid. You want to make sure their stuff comes in along with everything else. You definitely want to import the relays. Essentially all these boxes should be checked here. Don't worry about the from date or the through date or all this other stuff. All these defaults are going to work. The course, all courses. Click OK, and it's now imported this information. So we're going to close this. And if you go in and look at meets, you should see a CTCC VPDC meet from 2005. That's how long we've been teaching this stuff. And if you want to go look at those results, you just click on the results tab up here. You can look at results by event, results by name. We'll do it by event. Swims 14, well, let's find the team that was there. We'll pick Cherokee, CTCC. You should see some results in here. You got to scroll down a little bit to see them. Okay. Let's go back out to the main menu. And we'll close this. So from there, once you pull the stuff in, you can print out meet results. You can print out top times reports, things like that. So let's go ahead and run through a couple of these reports that you'll see in Team Manager. So go back to reports, go to meet reports, and let's look at there it is. Down here, meet results. Select the meet you want to work with. And notice there are a lot of filtering options here. You can look at age. You can sort it by age. You can do male or female. You can look at DQs. You just want to pull up a summary of those. You can do personal bests only. So you can run a personal best report. You can include team points if you want. You can sort it by meet event number or by name. Let's start off by meet event number. And up here where it says prelim, all these filtering options, just leave those alone. The big one here though, definitely check individuals and relays. You do want to include the DQ codes. So the reason for the DQ, that should come across if it was input in Meet Manager. Let's click Create Report. Well, that's cute. Meet I've got didn't have results. Huh. Well, normally it's going to come up with results, I promise. Unfortunately, I think the database I've got doesn't have results in it for some of these meets. And I'm working off of somebody else's computer. One of these have. Nope. No luck. Well, it's going to come up with a report that lists off swimmers' times. Okay. Try one thing real fast, see if I can get this to pull up. Bear with me for a second. what's going on with that. It'll normally come up, I promise. But again, in your software, it should come up. You'll see results. The big thing in there is net results report. It's going to have part of the report's going to include a column that'll show the improvement of the swimmers based on their times in the system. The other big thing is, and again, it's not going to pop up, it's not going to populate on the screen, but I can show you. The other big report you'll want to run is, it's called the top times report. So if you go into Team Manager and you go to reports and performance reports and select top times, this gives you the option to create a full report of every time that's in the system. You could select a particular meet. You can select a particular a range of times, use time since, use times until, so you could put in, just this year. So from January 1st to today's date, we'll give you all of this year's meets. But this can let you show literally a history of your program and a history of all your swimmer swims. So if you click on, we'll sort it by event, stroke and distance down here at the bottom, and course options. So this will give you the option to actually display just yard times, or it'll let you convert times. So YY, fourth one down, it'll convert all yard times. It'll convert every time in the system to yards and show it as a yard time. So if you swam in a short course meters pool for one of your meets, which again, you won't be doing that, you'll be in your own pool this year, but in a normal year, you might have some meets in a metric pool. It's going to show those times as yard times instead of, short course meter times. Columns, again, you got options. So top how many right here, let's put 0. Let's get all the times that are in there. Create report, and again, show fastest only, that's fine. Click OK. And here we go. It's got literally every available time that's in there. So this is the all-time top 10 for the 25 free for the girls. Okay. We'll close this and stay on that top times report. You could also sort it by name down here, bottom left. Leave everything else as it is. And it's going to take that swimmer and give you every time that they've ever had. It's a great resource, real good goal building tool. It's something that can be really helpful for teams to work with. And again, you can convert this into a PDF and share it with the team. Any questions so far?
No.
All right, so that's pretty much Team Manager from start to finish. Like I said, some teams are using Swimtopia and Team Unify for these functions, and if you are, it's great, works fine. It's just, like I said, we can't, this class would take forever if we were trying to teach to all those different platforms. One thing to cover real quick, if you want to transfer this info from one computer to another, you can actually back up the entire database, and I really encourage teams, you should periodically be backing up these databases and saving them somewhere safe, whether it's on the hard drive or that computer might go kaput. I believe there's a certain team that rhymes with Oakwood Hills that has a real long track record of unfortunately having a computer get really wet. Sorry, Kevin. But honestly, again, this stuff usually doesn't go anywhere, but like I said, every once in a while you have a computer go bad. And if that happens, having this stuff backed up somewhere safe always helps. So let's go back into Team Manager real quick. If you go up to File, top left, and just fourth thing down, back up. Click on that, and it's going to say, where do you want to save it? Well, you can save it anywhere. You can put it on a flash drive, you can put it on the hard drive. Click OK, and it's going to back this up to a particular location. Say yes, and it's saved. It'll tell you again, backup complete. This is where I've saved it. This is where I've sent it, and I've named it this. SWTM BKUB. So swim, team manager, backup, the name of the database, and so forth. Teams don't need to create new databases every year. You can stay with the one that you've got and dump all the information in there. There's no need to create a brand new database every year. If you wanted to transfer this stuff onto another computer, so say we've saved this backup and we want to put it on a new team computer, in order to do that, if you were to go to File, and you would start out by opening a database, so you go to Open New, and go through all the normal steps of naming the database and setting everything up. I'm not going to walk through that, it's a little tedious. But if you go through those steps and create the brand new database, you would be back at the main screen. In order to load that backup into your computer, into the new computer, if you were to go to Restore, and we'll go find that backup file that we've created. It's going to be on the C drive. If you were to double click on that file, it's going to say, okay, here's the backup info, here's where it was created, here's who created it. Restore options, replace the currently open database. And the big thing here is, if you do this, you are literally loading everything in this backup file into the existing database. So you're overwriting everything. So be very careful when you do this, because you may not, again, you don't want to load stuff over an existing database, because essentially you're erasing all the old data. Click OK. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do this? Continue and overwrite. And again, it's going to give you another warning. Say, you sure? Yes. Restore completed. And now the database is open and ready to go. Okay. So that's backup and restore, and that's something, again, that comes up in Meet Manager a good bit more. But like I said, periodically back up your database and save it somewhere else. It's really frustrating. I know teams will run through problems where, you know, you hate to say it, but coach parts on less than amicable terms, and they have the team computer, and that computer never gets back. Or I heard a horror story one year. They said the coach just wiped it, took all the files off it, which to me is not a very nice thing to do. But you never know with some people. So again, saving your data is really important. Again, you can, like I said, I kind of get on a soapbox a lot of cases with team manager. The big thing there is, team manager is great to do your lineup and everything else, and the coaches, usually the coaches are the ones that work with that software. It's the back end that's so important that I see some teams just don't take advantage of it. And it won't be an issue this year, but occasionally we'll have a team show up at the ASA meet, and they'll be at the championship meet, and their swimmers don't know how many times. And, you know, the parents are upset, to say the least, because the kids get seated last. And they're like, we don't understand why this happened. I'm like, did you ever import any of the results from your meets? They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you need to import the results after the meet's done. That's where the times come from. So to me, that stuff is very, very useful and valuable information. And to me, the bigger thing is it again gives teams the opportunity to create those top times reports and those really good tools to show kids, look, you come to practice, you work hard. Hey, you took a private lesson with the coach this week, and guess what happened? You know, that money was well spent. I mean, it's a great way to reinforce this. But to me, the biggest part is it shows kids the tangible. You know, they can see it on the paper, and they can see how much they improve. And they do. They improve every single week, because the coaches do an awesome job in getting these kids to go faster. So it's a great use of that software, and I can't stress enough how important it is to do that. I think this is a good kind of break point. So what I'm going to do is, it's about 11:12. So let's come back at 11:20. Give everybody about 8 minutes to get up, stretch your legs, get a cool beverage, and come back, and we'll pick up Meet Manager from there.